What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And we've talked a little bit about the Epic Store versus the Steam storefront previously. We're going to talk about it again a little bit today because something happened that makes Steam look like a complete dumpster fire. And the reason we talked about this last time is we were talking about Metro Exodus making the decision to pull their game, which had pre-sold on Steam, off of Steam in favor for the Epic Games Store. And the reason for that we discussed was probably having to do with profit sharing. If you guys don't know this, Steam takes 30% of your revenue when you sell a game on Steam. The folks over at Epic only want to charge you about 15%. And hey, if you decide to use their Unreal Engine, they will waive the royalty fees that you would normally have to pay if you sold it on Steam. So you're going to save a lot more money. And profit is going to be the major factor, I think, on almost any decision like this. A company is designing games to make money, so they're going to go where they can make the most money. And that doesn't always have to do with just revenue share. It also is going to have to do with a lot of other factors, especially in current year. If you guys remember this, a couple years back, Steam removed a bunch of adult games from their storefront, and as a result, there was a huge backlash. And Gabe Newell is no big fan of upsetting the internet. In fact, he's quoted as saying that every day that the internet is upset at you, your company loses about $1 million. So they decided to take a huge step back from that kind of policing of their storefront. In fact, saying that they would allow just about everything on their storefront, as long as it was not illegal or straight up trolling. Now, if you guys don't know me, I do love freedom of speech right up to the very, very edge of it. I like to defend unpopular speech, and I'm a big fan of saying, if you want to put nudity in a video game, if you want to put adult themes in a video game, you should be allowed to put that in your video game, and there should probably be a place that you can sell that game. If Steam wants that on their websites, then Steam should have that on their website. And when it comes to adult games, by the way, there are plenty of adults-only games on Steam. If you want to download and play some adults-only games, you're absolutely capable of doing it here on the storefront. But when it comes to Steam's rules on other stuff, saying that it has to either be straight up illegal or straight up trolling before they will remove it from the website, that came across as almost a dare for a lot of developers. A lot of developers decided they would do whatever they could to just push the envelope there in the hopes of triggering some people and getting to either complain about their game and make sales via word of speech or get, edgy people, edgelords, to purchase their game. Take, for example, the games that got uploaded by the group known as A Bunch O' Dudes, including this game that you can see here on your screen right now. And here's another list of these games. I'm not even going to say these words because I don't want to trigger the YouTube algorithm and get it to demonetize this video, but these guys knew what they were doing when they made games like this. And look, if these were high-quality games designed by people who truly believed in the thing that they were creating, then I guess I might be able to understand an argument defending these games, but these games weren't that. They were just asset flicks where they took basically existing engines and existing assets in those games, paid a very small licensing fee, threw them all together, then named them something inflammatory, either trying to get Polygon and other companies to write about those games so that people would buy them, or to get you to defend them so that you would buy them. And unfortunately, the situation that Steam is currently facing, for every adults-only game that is of any quality whatsoever on the storefront, it is literally buried by hundreds, if not thousands, of other clones and asset flips, all rated adults only. So if you like that kind of content, your chances of actually finding it in the store is so close to zero, it may as well not exist. Now, Steam has actually said in the past that they were going to use AI algorithms to be able to bury those bad games and let only the good ones rise to the top, so that the only games you will see recommended to you are good games. But there's another website that actually uses algorithms to make sure only quality content rises to the top, and that would be YouTube. And how's that working out for YouTube right now? And look, I'm not doubting AI. I'm not doubting algorithms. I know that eventually they will get there. The problem is they're just not there yet. And websites like YouTube and Steam and Facebook and Twitter and everywhere else that allows that type of content in the hopes that the algorithms will bury it and push it down, they're getting in trouble every single day, again and again, because the technology's just not there yet. And the way outrage culture impacts the industry right now, knowing that James Gunn's tweets from 2009 are capable of destroying his lucrative career with Disney, is it any wonder that there are companies that would rather be on the Epic's storefront, which is being heavily policed and heavily curated, as opposed to being on Steam, which basically is a dumpster fire? And if you doubt for even a second that Steam is a complete dumpster fire. I want you to know that this game, pictured here in this headline, a game whose title is so egregious I don't even want to say it, in which you play a serial killer during the zombie apocalypse who obviously has a hobby, as you can see here on the screen. This actually made it to the storefront on Steam before Valve responded to it. That's what these anything goes policies are allowing. And look, I love edgy content. I love freedom of speech. I love adults-only games, whether it's Grand Theft Auto or DOA Volleyball. I think all of those games have a right to exist. But this game crosses even my line, and I try to support everything. And look, even a game like that notoriously cash-in known as Hatred, even that game I supported existing. I didn't want to play it. I don't want to have anything to do with it, but it's okay that it exists. And this game is okay that it exists as well. But can you understand why Steam shouldn't want to be associated with that in current year? But even if Steam does decide that is exactly what they want to defend, that's exactly the hill they want to die on, that's exactly their brand message, and that's what they want on the front page of their website, can you understand why many developers and many companies would not want to be associated then with Steam? And then instead of choosing to go on Steam and be associated with that, they might prefer to go to the place that not only offers a better cut, that doesn't take royalties for the Unreal Engine, but on top of that, curates their storefront. Unfortunately, Steam did eventually block this game from being sold on the platform, which I think is the right decision, especially considering outrage culture, but also because it's just the right thing to do. But on top of that, it's kind of weird that it even got as far as it did, and I don't think Steam would have blocked it had there not been a public outcry. Had people not noticed, I think Steam would have probably let that on the storefront. I'm 90% sure. And look, you may disagree with my opinion here and Steam's decision here, but you know who doesn't? The developer of this game. Because even the developer of the game said in an email, I think I might agree with Steam that my game is not the right fit for a distribution site that is marketed at the general masses and children. My next move is to sell the game on my own website. Maybe that would have been a better move for me from the start. If the own developer realizes that was not a good place for his game, then Steam definitely made the right decision. And me and the developer are not the only people that feel this game shouldn't be made available on Steam, because now UK politicians are calling for a review of Steam because this game showed up on the storefront. So now we're possibly looking at actual government regulation because of this. And I think you guys know me well enough now to where you know I'm against government regulation when it comes to video games. This is the last thing I wanted. That's why we have the ESRB to begin with. They're supposed to be regulating the industry itself. And you're supposed to self-regulate as well, especially if you're a storefront, Steam. It should have never come to that. And what an oxymoronic world we are living in now, where DOA 6 gets panned for having even just skimpy clothing in it. Every Mortal Kombat 11 character has to be clothed completely from head to toe. Meanwhile, Steam is selling games like this. I think what we all want, and I think what the industry needs, is to meet somewhere in the middle. But instead of meeting in the middle, what we are doing is the same thing we're doing in everything else in daily life right now. Everything else on the internet and everything in real life. It's all extremes. It's one way or the other. Never in the middle. Nowhere close in the middle. Nothing reasonable. Just one extreme or the other. So the next time we get mad at a developer for deciding to jump ship from Steam and move over to the Epic Store or anywhere else, can we please keep in mind it's because not only are they saving a lot of money, guaranteeing the success of their game, but they are also staying away from trash like that, which is something you might want to do in this current year with all of the outrage culture that's out there until Steam decides to start taking out the trash. And look, as annoying as it is to have 6 or 7 different patchers and loaders built into my system and have my games library dedicated to all of these different places and all of these different stores, as frustrating as it is, I'm glad, once again, that there is competition for Steam. There needs to be competition for Steam because they need to start making better choices. Maybe they'll start making video games again. This is that one day a week that I'm asking them to finally make video games again. But, you know, that's one man's opinion. I could be wrong. I hope I don't come across as the morality police here. I hope I don't come across as, like, virtue signaling or coming across as super offended, because I'm not ultra offended. I'm fairly offended, but not ultrally so, and I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it. I'm just trying to say that maybe Steam should run a tighter ship and clean up their business a little bit, because it could really be the end of Steam if they don't. That's one man's opinion. I could be wrong, and I know if I am wrong, you're going to let me know in the comments section below. While you're down there, I bet you're going to drop a like on this video. I bet if you're not subscribed, you are going to subscribe, and if you are subscribed, I bet you're going to hit that notification bell, because if you are one of the very first people to respond to a notification, you can watch that video in its entirety as soon as it goes live in the first hour and guarantee the success of that video for that YouTuber. And if you choose to do that, you know I'm going to appreciate you for it. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon.